Hey guys, this is the 4th Gen Gamer here, bringing you guys a tutorial video on how to randomize any Pokemon 3DS game. Now, we are getting towards the end of life of the 3DS, and there are no more main series Pokemon games coming, so we decided to put together for you guys a end-all be-all tutorial video that will cover all Pokemon games with the latest software, the latest updates, and you guys can randomize a ton of stuff now. So this video does include Generation 6, X, Y, and ORAS, as well as Gen 7, Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. So any past randomizer tutorial videos are a little bit out of date, and this is the go-to tutorial. Now, I said we before because I'm not alone. This video is being brought to you by a friend of mine you guys have seen on the channel probably quite a few times. He goes by Matt Buchanan. You can see his Twitter on the screen right now. Go and follow him, go and support him. He did a lot of work to make this video possible, and he's also a contributing developer for the program that is the Randomizer, the PK3DS, if you guys know the name of it. Now, before we get any further with this, you will have a few requirements to randomize any of these games. First of all, you do need to have a computer, obviously. We will be using Windows, but Mac should do. You may have to do a couple workarounds to get the EXE working. Probably Wine or something, you can look up how to use that. But we'll be using Windows for this, and you also need custom firmware on your 3DS. If you don't know what custom firmware is, it is a process they have to go through to install it, and you can find that in the description. Go to the website 3ds.guide, and you could try and install it on your own. We will not be going over how to do that today. This is a tutorial on how to install a randomizer, not how to install custom firmware. So go to the link down below. 3ds.guide is the website, and you could install custom firmware with that. The other requirement is SD card wise. You will need a 4 GB at the very least if you want to do Gen 6. If you want to do Gen 7, you will need at least 8 GB. I would recommend personally getting a 16 gig or a 32 gig just so you could build up a collection of games. But I mean, realistically, all you need is 8 if you really want to do a Gen 6 randomizer and you really don't want to go out and get another SD card. 4 GB will do, but you might as well just go out and get one. They're pretty cheap for 8 GB, 16 GB. Go out and get one. With that being said, I'm going to go and show you guys how to dump your game, and then I'll hand it off to Matt for the majority of this video. Okay, so before we dump the games, first we're going to want to download the 3DS Randomizer Pack.zip. This is a custom zip file made by Matt for this tutorial, so please do not use this and distribute this to other tutorials. This is just for this. If you saw the other randomizer tutorial, we took down the link. It's because people were spreading it. This is specifically for this tutorial. So what you want to do is go to this link. It will be in the description as a Google Drive link, and just click the download button, and it's pretty quick, does not take too long to download, and it is a zip file. So that opened up in my other monitor, but here you go, 3DS Randomizer Pack, and you want to go ahead and just extract that onto your desktop or just somewhere that you'll be able to find it easily. So give it a minute, and there we go. Here we have 3DS Randomizer Pack. So once again, that opened up on my other monitor, but this has everything that you will need. So you have the ROM folder, which is empty. You have all of these other folders with certain things, and he will go ahead and show you what to do with this. But before we do that, like I said before, you guys are going to need to dump your games. So we'll go ahead and show you to do that right now. So now to dump the games, there are two kinds of dumps that you could do. There is a physical copy dump and a digital copy dump. So if you are using an actual cartridge, let's say you have a Pokemon Alpha Sapphire cartridge, then you'll listen to this method for the physical copy. Now, if you're doing a digital copy, something that you got off the eShop, it's installed on your 3DS, you don't have an actual physical copy of it, you could skip to this timestamp in the video, and if you're doing a physical copy, just keep watching. So we're going to boot up our 3DS and hold down the start button. This will boot us into God Mode 9, and for the physical copies, we are going to go ahead and go to Game Cart. I'll take a minute to load. I do have Pokemon Sun, and we're going to go to the file that ends in .trim.3ds. After that, you just want to go down to this option on the bottom screen that says copy to GM9 out. And now this will take some time. So I'm not going to sit here and let it do it. It's going to take definitely a little while. It should be faster on a new 3DS. I am on an old 3DS. But once that's done, it'll just tell you to press A and then press the home button and power off the system. There's an option that it'll say for that. So I'm going to go ahead and hold down B to cancel this, and we will do that. So if you're watching at this point, this is going to be how to do a digital copy. If you just need the physical, then go ahead and skip to this timestamp to continue with the tutorial. So if you're watching right now, then you should be ready to dump a digital copy. So anything that's installed on your system already. So what we're going to want to do is go to the A drive here, sysnand SD, go to title, and go to this first one with the 4 and all the zeros. And then you need to find the appropriate title ID. So all of these games that we're going to be doing have certain title IDs. I'm not going to verbally tell you all of them, but you can see on the screen right now all of the title IDs. And you need to just find the one that you need. So just as an example, I will do this first one, the 00055E00. This is Pokemon Y. We could do this for any other thing. I believe Matt, his example will be for Ultra Sun, but it's the same difference. So if you're doing Ultra Sun, then you just go to the Ultra Sun title ID and then follow these instructions. But just for the sake of this example, we'll be doing Pokemon Y. This works for any of the title IDs that are on the screen, and that's all you really need to know. So go down to go down to content, which is the first option for us here, and go to the file that ends in .tmd. Then you'll see here on the bottom screen TMD file options. Click on that, and then go to dump cxi/nds file. So this once again will take some time, and it looks like this is faster than the other one. Not sure how that works exactly, but it will take some time, and that will end us the same way that the physical copy ended. Just press the A button when it is done, and then press the home button to bring you back to the Godmo 9 home screen, and then select power off systems. So that's that. By now you should have either your physical copy dumped or your digital copy dumped. And with that, I'll hand it off to Matt to show you all of the randomizer goodness, and then I will close things out with a couple last minute housekeeping things. So with that, here you go, Matt.
Hello guys, what is up? This is not Galactic Elliot. So, once you have your game dumped with God Mode 9, on the root of your SD card there's going to be a folder named GM9. Inside there is another folder named Out, if I can open it, and inside the Out folder is another large file with a very long file name. This here is the game you just dumped. Now, depending on how you dumped it, there's going to be a different file extension. If it was physical, it's going to be .3ds. If it was digital, it's going to be .cxi. Regardless of what file extension it has, the steps are going to be the exact same, so don't worry about that. Now, in our case, we're going to be doing Pokemon Ultra Sun. So what you want to do with this is fairly simple. You can cut and paste, you can copy paste, or you can just drag and drop the file. We're going to go ahead and copy paste this into the 3DS Randomizer pack and the Step 1 Extract Contents folder. Now, because this is a fairly large file, it's going to take some time to move over, so we're going to go ahead and cut the video to when it's done. Alright, so once the file has been moved over successfully, the very first thing you're going to do is rename it. Now, again, the file extension will not matter, the process is going to be the same, but you want to make sure that what you type in is as shown. So you want to go ahead and name it Game. Lowercase g, lowercase a, lowercase m, lowercase e, followed by whatever file extension it was. Why this matters is because this extract.bat file here, it's going to first check for game.cxi in all lowercase. If it finds that file, it's going to extract all of the contents from it and drop it into this folder. If it doesn't find that file, it's going to look for another file named game.3ds, again all lowercase. Now, if it doesn't find that file, it's just not going to extract anything. That's why it is so case sensitive. Just make sure you see it as it's shown right here. If you go ahead and double click extract.bat after renaming it, of course it popped up on my other monitor, you can see that it's going ahead and extracting all of the contents from my CXI and moving them into these two folders here. Again, this is a bit of a lengthy process, so we're going to cut the video to when this is done, and then we can get to actually randomizing our game. Alright, so once your game is completely extracted, you're going to see two folders that were generated, exe and romfs. What you want to do with these is, again, cut and paste, copy paste, drag and drop, whatever you gotta do. I'm just going to go ahead and cut and paste these into the ROM folder here. That's all you need to do. Now we can go ahead and actually randomize our game. And in order to do that, we need PK3DS, the 3DS ROM editor and randomizer. So in the Step 2 Randomize folder is a text document, and inside here, these are instructions on how to get the latest build. All you need is this one URL. I'm even going to show you on screen how to do it. So we're going to just go ahead and open that up, and it's going to bring us to a page called Team City. You probably don't have an account here, so just go ahead and click Login as Guest. Once you do that, it's going to show you the build number, the build date and the build time. This is going to vary depending on when builds are released. You want to go ahead and click Artifacts, and the first download option is PK3DS build whatever build number.zip. You just want to go ahead and click on that, it'll download. You can extract it using the built-in Windows feature, or you can use something like WinRAR or 7-zip. I'm going to be using 7-zip as an example. So it's going to show you 5 different files. What you want to do is just select all of these, drag them into the Step 2 Randomize folder, and that's it. You now have the randomizer downloaded, and you can go ahead and run it. Now, as you'll see, PK3DS has already detected that I have Pokemon Ultra Sun in the ROM folder. This is not going to happen to you. The only reason this is the case is because I've had a failed recording, and the data was persistent, so it didn't leave. So in order to actually get your game to load, you just want to have PK3DS open, and drag the ROM folder onto the window. That's all you need to do. After that, PK3DS will auto-detect what game it is, as you can see from the top, and all of the editors are available for you to use. Now, keep in mind, depending on what game you have loaded currently, some editors are going to be in different tabs. As you can see, in a Generation 7 game, Static Encounters is going to be in the ROMFS tab, whereas if this was a Generation 6 game, that would be in CRO. Likewise, in the CRO tab in a Generation 7 game, I have Pokemart. If this was Generation 6, that would be in EXEFS. So it really just depends on what game you have loaded. Rest assured though, all the editors here are good to use. So, as I've said, we're doing Ultra Sun as our example game, so let's go ahead and get to randomizing stuff. So let's try out personal stats. This is basically all the Pokemon's base stats, their held item chances when found in the wild, abilities, types, egg groups, all that. For the sake of this, we're just going to randomize the held items. So check all this, click randomize, and now all the Pokemon have random held item chances. Now, a Pokemon like Magmar, it's found in the wild while having a 5% chance of holding Magmarizer. If you were to type in Magmar here, you would see that its item chances are now changed. It has a 50% chance of holding the Lunalium Z, a 5% chance of holding the Kangaskhanite, and a 1% chance of holding a Pasho Berry. So you can definitely tell right off the bat that that is completely different from what it is normally. And note that this applies for every single species. It also applies for every single form. So if I go to Rayquaza 1, which is Mega Rayquaza, you'll see that it has Prism Scale, Habonberry, and Sweetheart, whereas opposed to regular Rayquaza has Citrus Berry, Green Scarf, and Flying Memory. So keep that in mind when you're playing. They're going to be different depending on the form that you find. So I can close out of that. Wild Encounters is a big one. And when I say big, I actually mean it. It's a big file, so it's going to take a few seconds to load. If PK3DS says it's not responding, don't worry, that's totally normal. It's only because it's a fairly large file. So once it loads, you're going to see this huge window pop up. Now, in Generation 7, your randomization tweaks are at the bottom left, whereas if this was Generation 6, your tweaks would be in the Horde tab. Depending on whatever editor you're using, some tweaks will be in different locations. It's not hard to navigate through it, you'll find it eventually as long as you open the editor. So in this case, we're just going to set our settings down here. And at the top right, you have Randomize All, you can just go ahead and click that. And it's randomized the wild Pokemon according to our specifications down here. So that's pretty cool, we'll go ahead and close that. It's going to take a few seconds to set back. Again, if it says it's not responding, don't worry, it's going to eventually. Mega Evolutions does not have a randomizer. That also applies to item stats, the Overworld script editor, which I would recommend you don't even bother with, the Battle Royal and Battle Tree. If this was Generation 6, that would be the Battle Maison, both the normal and super tiers. Type Chart does not have a randomizer, but you can change the type effectiveness to your liking. Shiny Rate, it does not have a randomizer, but you can set it to a certain percent of your liking. And that's it for things that don't have randomizers. Another cool thing I will show you though is in Evolutions. A new feature that I added just a few days ago was Remove Trade Evolutions. What this does is it'll take a Pokemon that has Trade as an evolution method and change it into something that's possible with only one device. So if I click this, it's going to remove them. If I go to a Pokemon like Kadabra, you'll see that instead of trading to evolve it, I now just have to get it to level 30. Likewise, something like Feebas. Instead of having to trade it while holding the prism scale, I can just now level it up while it's holding the prism scale. And something like Shelmet, instead of having to trade for Carablast, I just need to level up with a Carablast in my party. So it's a lot more efficient, it's a lot cooler, and it's a very nice feature. I'm glad that I added it, because a lot of people are going to like it. Likewise, you can also randomize evolutions. Note that will not change the evolution method, it'll only change the Pokemon it evolves into. So if I randomized it, Shelmet would still evolve into Axelgor, I lied. It'll still evolve when it has a Pokemon Carablast in its party, but it's not going to evolve into Axelgor. It could evolve into something. We could make it evolve into Hydreigon. So they'd all be completely random. That's pretty cool. Level up moves, you know what that is. Pokemon, what they learn when leveling up. Trainers, we'll go ahead and dabble with that for a second. I'm just going to click randomize all, doesn't really matter. Close that. Static encounters. Now for Generation 7, there's something neat you got to take in mind. So, if you click Randomize Starters, you can go ahead and randomize them. You see there are now Cyndaquil, Porygon, and Elekid. Once you click Save, it's going to bring up this prompt. Starters have been changed. Update text references. Note that this only updates text references for the current language set in PK3DS. Now, you can see mine set in English. You can set that as it says in the options menu here. Choose language, and then from a drop-down, you can pick whatever language you plan on playing. It'll only update the text for that language, so because I have PK3DS running in English, I need to make sure that I play the game in English, so that way I can see the updated text. That's just a small thing you need to keep in mind before randomizing this. So just go ahead and click yes. I'll even show you language. You can choose a whole list of options. Japanese, English, French, Italian, German, Spanish, Korean, and traditional and simplified Chinese. I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that was it in that order. TMs, you can go ahead and randomize these. Now, keep in mind, TM1 is Shockwave. If I go back to the ROMFS tab and click Story Text, and immediately close it, what that does is, for every single TM item description, it's going to change to the randomized TM. So TM01 Workup, instead of having the item description to match Workup, it's going to match Shockwave, which is, it's a nice touch. Not a lot of people know about it. I would recommend you do that after randomizing TMs, only because in case you don't know what a move does, it's nice to have the description there before you even try to teach it to your Pokemon. So yeah, just a heads up, a little tip for you. Pokemart is another thing. Anything that you edit in CROs is going to bring up a prompt. CRO editing causes crashes if you do not patch the RO module. In order to patch the RO module, your device must be running custom firmware, like Luma 3DS. Luma 3DS does this automatically, so you really don't have to worry about it. It's not a toggleable option, so just go ahead and click yes. And you can randomize the Mart inventories. There is also an option to only do special Marts, so stuff like Pokeballs, Potions, Antidotes, Escape Ropes, Repels, they will all stay intact, but only the special Marts will have random inventories. Like Mount Lanakila's X item inventory now sells Leftovers, Wise Glasses, Energy Root, Charizardite X. A lot of cool stuff. And the stuff like Pokeballs, Potions, that stays intact. So if you go to BP items, that's all the inventories in the places like the beaches, the Battle Tree, the Battle Royal Dome. Over in Tutors, note if you click randomize, it's going to say not implemented. This is not implemented as of now because right now this is only for viewing. If you try to change the price or any of the moves that they teach, it's not going to change and reflect the changes in game. So for now, you can just ignore that. I'm going to go ahead and click save to save our changes. And that's pretty much it. Once you have your randomizing done, you just need to go ahead and go to Options, About Garks, and you want to keep this window active. What this is a reference for what files you're going to be copying to your SD card. Essentially, what we're going to be doing is we're going to replicate the game's file system on our SD card, and we're going to have it be patched on the fly. You'll know what I mean as we do it, so I'm just going to close out of this so I can realign my windows. I'm going to go ahead and open up Step 3, Patch the Game in a new window. Come on, there you go. We're going to open that in a new window. I'm going to put PK3DS down here. And we're going to go Options, About Garks. We're just going to keep this right here for our own reference. Now, there are a few things to keep note of. As you can see in this list, it tells you the game type and it tells you all the GARCs that PK3DS can edit. But it doesn't mention the EXCFS edits as well as any CROs that you can edit. I'm going to have a list on screen right now that'll show you what CROs can be edited for Generation 6 and Generation 7. It's a different list. Generation 7 only has 1 and Generation 6 has 3 different kinds. So you want to make sure that you know what those are. So when we actually get into patching it, I'll show you right now. In this window, we're going to open ROM. In this window, we're going to open up Pokemon Ultra Sun. You're going to see a Luma folder, titles, the title ID matching whatever game you chose, and a ROMFS folder. Very first thing we're going to do is get the EXEFS edits. I've seen a lot of people not know how to do this. I've had to tell many people how to do this because it's, for whatever reason, unclear. Open up the EXE folder, and you're going to see .code.bin. You just want to copy this and paste it here. Now, a very crucial step. Rename it to get rid of the full stop at the beginning. If it has that full stop at the beginning of the the file name, it's not going to load. Likewise, if you put it in a path called EXEFS, it's not going to load. It has to be in this specific path with that specific file name, or else your TMs, your whatever else, type chart, whatever it is, it's not going to be random. So just make sure it's like that. Now in the ROMFS folder, this is where everything else is going to go. So if I go to ROMFS, an easy way to tell what's been changed is just sort by date modified, and you'll see the very first one, shop.cro, as we had in that previous list. This is the Pokemart inventories in Generation 7. We just want to copy that and paste it right here. Now everything else that's listed here, that's all in the A folder. So if I sort this by name again, scroll up to the top, open up A, I'm going to see 0, 1, 2, and 3. I'll see, let's say, I randomized the personal stats. So I want to go to A017. So I'm in A01. And again, I can see that file 7 has a different date modified. So I'm going to copy this, go to A01, and paste in 7. We're literally just replicating the file system. It's fairly straightforward. I'm going to do 2 more. Do encounter static. So A15, copy 9. You can see again, different date modified. Go back here, 1, 5, paste 9. And another thing I'd like to point out right now, I'm going to use it as my next example. Trainer class, trainer data, and trainer Pokemon. Regardless of what you changed, all 3 of these files are going to be affected. So I'm going to copy all 3. You can see that it was A1, 0, 5, 6, and 7. So I'm going to copy all of those, 1, 0, and paste all 3 of them here, just so that I have all the changes that I made. So really, that's pretty much it. Once you have all the files that you've edited in your Pokemon whatever folder, the Luma folder here, you just want to go ahead, drag and drop it to your SD card, copy paste it, cut and paste it, whatever you got to do. If it asks you to replace files, go ahead and do so. And that's really it. Your game is now randomized, you have the patches on your SD card. All you need to do is delete some update data, run your game, and it'll patch on the fly with your randomizer. So we're going to go ahead and throw you back to Josh, where he will show you how to do that.
Thank you, Matt. Now that is all done, we just have to do one last thing, and then we'll be all good to test out our randomizer. So you're going to want to go to System Settings and make sure that your update data is deleted. I'll show you how to do that right now, and that should be the final step to get everything working. So go to Data Management, Nintendo 3DS, Downloadable Content, and whatever game you were trying to randomize, you will delete the update data for. So for example, if we were doing an Ultra Moon randomizer, then we would click delete right there. Now, I already have my Ultra Sun deleted, so I don't have to do it. But let's say you're doing Alpha Sapphire, you just click delete, and then you'll be all good to go. So we're going to go ahead and test out the game now. Okay, so we are here ready to test out the Ultra Sun randomizer. I am at the beginning of the game. We're going to run around and see what we can find. Oh yeah, this is my Pokemon Star save file. Isn't that neat? Alright, so we're going to go ahead and run into the grass and make sure we are all good to go. And we'll check the TMs just to double check that as well. Alright, we are in the grass, and we are finding ourselves a crocodile. I'm pretty sure you can't get that in this game, at this point especially. There we go. So the randomizer seems to be working. We have a Zorora. That is great. Oh no, this is my Ultra Sun randomizer. My bad. You guys get the point. You guys get the point. There we go, we're looking all good there, and we'll check the TMs in just a moment here. Either way, if this video was helpful for you guys, I would greatly appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button if you are new. We have plenty of other content here on the channel, tutorials, and other things like randomizers, and I mean, yeah, that's that pretty much. We only have one TM, but it's Sweet Kiss, and it's definitely not normally Sweet Kiss, so everything seems to everything seems to be working, which is awesome. And yeah, that's about that pretty much. Make sure you check out Matt. His links are down below, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.